explanation. So the focus, as you said, is on digital age and trust. And we thought that stating what the problem is, is equally important very often, because you have, maybe the famous saying from Nietzsche, if you have a good question, it's already half the answer, So we would like to write down just a few statements that we hear, about either the problem statement or the solution proposal. You don't need to worry about that. So we will just record that while you are speaking. Yeah? Okay.
Thank you, Irma. Yeah, I like to start with James Lovelock, The Novocene, The Age of Hyperintelligence. Now here we are to lay the foundations with the best Cadenabbia agenda on trust in the digital age. Is such an agenda required, Ernst Ulrich von Weizsäcker?
It's essentially a methodology. And people like new methods. Typically, in the assessment of quality of scientists, methodology is on top. And therefore, people are simply excited by new methods.
The new agenda.
They call it a new agenda.
In order to have an agenda really that it moves something, the words to use in the agenda and how many pages the agenda
they would
itself.
Avoid the term methodology because it sounds much nicer if you sort of explain a new world or something like that. And that makes journalists alert.
Alert.
Yeah.
So you would think that's one of the initial impacts that we could have.
Yeah. There is, gibst du mir das Buch nochmal, da ist ein Bild drin.
The picture, yeah.
Go on. Don't wait for me.
Yes, I like to give the boccia ball to Ernesto.
Thank you very much. Well, what can I say? I think that an agenda is badly needed, and very definitely it's badly needed. And it has to be an agenda which has to do with let's say not that much the use of technology, but which has to do with the world, which transform the world, which is transformed by the massive introduction of technology. So we are in the middle of the massive deployment. A lot of people call it the second digital transformation or the fourth. I lost count, right? But there is been a massive digital transformation going on. Certainly, one thing is the massive deployment of AI. Certainly one thing, but not only that. So what I'm saying is that in this is a danger and an opportunity. So the agenda should be the one that promotes trust, but not only trust, also I believe the principles that were mentioned in Ernst's keynote just a minute ago. Those principles have been very difficult and at the moment to implement in the real world until now, but it might be the introduction of technology gives us an opportunity. And so I think that the agenda that we might have is how to take the opportunity of this digital transformation to sort of nudge the entire community towards a common good that we have been discussing. Is this an opportunity, and can we sort of push in that direction, not by a political agenda, but by an agenda made by scientists? So it's an agenda about cultural production and about ideas. It's not an agenda. I can't put a fine, right? But I can put out some ideas and hope that those ideas will influence how the technology will be used by people.
Let me just mention this picture, which is difficult for you to see, but essentially it's the following. There are 4 lines of getting better. And then there is one that is really better. It is beating them all. And it's called disruptive technologies. Some 10 years ago, disruptive was the key word, to be with it. And in my, this subpart, part I have written, I said, well, that's a methodology and can be very, very wrong. And the original paper in which this term, disruptive, came up was by Bauer and Christensen. And I looked at it, and it was adoring the idea of Schumpeter, who said, we have to destroy until we really do something. And this I found negative and not positive.
Right.
That is essentially my answer.
Elizabeth, what is your view? In the Silicon Valley, you defined sustainable transformation, give and take, and trust to sustain the collaboration for the agenda.
The trust is very naive word, and people really don't believe trust in my engagement. The people are forced to trust government or banking, financial institution. So we have defined the trust as a context-based, and it is time frame. In this particular time, if we have some common interest and common activities, like a coalition or like partnership, doing some tasks, and then at that period of time we're forced to trust, and we achieve some common goals. Whether we achieve, not achieve, we pick both. And then it's like a naturally ecosystems that, Professor Damiani initialized the original work, digital ecosystems, like a self-organized coalition for a particular purpose in a temporary, goals and activities, and they can decompose, and when the activity is finished, goal is achieved or not achieved, they can join another ecosystem. So the trust, on the in terms of our social economic environment only became possible. It was this notion of distributed trust, that only at the time that blockchain that evolved, which is called a disruptive technology, that people trust that blockchain, because blockchain is not Bitcoin. It is the fundamental of this highly intelligent AI algorithms that immutable, transparently immutable, and traceable. And the all of these sexy terms that gave to this blockchain, is what about trust. We want transparency, we want openness, we want immutability, we want visibility, we want sustainability. It's all come with the words, with the work done on blockchain. So we say, what wonderful things we want to have, and this is things if something has this feature, we trust, because of that feature we trust. And that is what's called distributed trust, because the trust is not central. It's not trust to centralized systems. Any government, any country, we all everything's organized, centralized, style, and people don't trust centralized systems. Digital ecosystems are sort of like a distributed environment. And if we have this distributed trust, you know, that you know, it is immutable, because the blockchain is a relay, you know, with the so the like Google, Twitter, Facebook, and all of that, those are centralized systems, banking systems, and the central government, they can get rid of organization email system. They all centralized, and they can ban you. They can lock you out, and you're completely lost. Social networks is also centralized, and people don't really trust them, because if they don't like you, they can ban you, they can lock you out, and you're completely lost. The social network is lost, and the security and trust is on the you know, on the you know, the decision is the owner of that social network.
I think that's what Ernesto said. The agenda is really needed, the best Cadenabbia agenda. I mean, with your statements on the technological opportunities, like Ernst Ulrich from Weizsäcker said before, to find the right balance between technological opportunities and really humanity in our tradition. That's the mix, the balance that hopefully comes out, I mean, the foundation here from Cadenabbia. So Ernst Ulrich, I'd like to ask you something on the hyperintelligence. Yes, exactly.
The question is whether the distributed trust is going to, you know, become a reality in the world. At the moment, the distributed trust is not centralized, right? People don't really trust centralized systems. In the future, everything is all, you know, with powerful internet technology evolution, distributed trust will take the world and disrupt everything. It's completely new technology, communication framework. Distributed trust we're going to take place, and the analogy of distributed trust and digital ecosystem are quite closely, can be closely related.
I understand that quality of inventions, of new ideas, of addressing what everybody says is needed, like how can we help Africa, for instance. Everybody would say, yes, of course. That can lead to real progress. This I would never deny. The trouble is, if for the merits of this kind of success is made a big high tower, meaning essentially that the rest is nonsense, I find unbalanced, stupid assessment. So I fully appreciate the invention of new good things for new problems which have not been solved, but make that essentially a killing moment against all the other useful things, I find completely unnecessary.
I would like to add a comment to this, if possible, because I think that we are touching here the point of having an agenda or not. So from my point is this: we have seen until now a first massive introduction of digital technology, digital environment. In this digital environment and with digital technologies, we have actually seen a distorted version of the, let's say, the basic assumption of the Homo economicus. For example, the digital technology have been used to perturbate the asymmetry of the information between the buyer and the seller, they have been used to create a situation. So the names that Elizabeth has mentioned, they were the names of Silicon Valley first generation, and they, sorry, I don't want to offend anyone, but they were bad names. I'm just out of a focus group with Meta in which they showed what they see as the next generation of services by the firm of Facebook. Mostly the first generation of digital technologies has been used to perturbate the information asymmetry, and so to make people more ignorant, and so more subject to, let's say, the more weaker in the economic game. And this has created, I'm just telling you my humble opinion, has created this asymmetry in the cyberspace, has created these fabulous riches of the people in the Silicon Valley. Now, what we are saying here is that we have an opportunity because there's a new revolution coming. In this new revolution, because always, well, we think as technologists that there is a new digital transformation coming up, which will not be the same as the past. Can we have the opportunity to make this digital transformation? Of course, I see that Elizabeth believes that one strong element in this digital transformation is, well, basically the emergence of an infrastructure for digital value, which is basically shares called the blockchain, right? So this is certainly one of the elements. Do we believe that, for example, in this type of technology can be the place where we realize this new economy, this new economic, well, of course, Satoshi certainly thought that. I mean, the people who founded, we were discussing Bitcoin, they thought that cryptocurrencies could be the place where, or the opportunity to change the economic interaction by introducing. So now what we are saying is that there is a new opportunity maybe for using the technology to recreate economy. This is what I want to hear from you before I go. Do you think technology can be just a methodology, is just an instrument, or can be the new setting where the economic game can be played with different rules? So this is what you were saying at the beginning, right? That we need a new economic game played with different rules. Not only the greed will win, but also the greed will for the common good. So what I add is the technology capable of sort of enabling this, or it is just a way to do the old game with the faster, you know? So I stop right here. I just wanted to pick your brain on that.
One example of new technologies becoming very important and very dangerous is genetic engineering. Nowadays, the agro lobbies say we need genetic engineering. And then we get a whole bunch of stupid things destroying ecologically, but it is new. Therefore, we do it. And therefore, we make billions of dollars. This is the philosophy. And it is somehow a little bit similar to digitization and many other such things. One is simply proud of doing something what all the other stupid people have never thought, but we do it. It's an ego trip, you know. And part of that I find a little bit suspicious.
Okay, we have a question in between. Is that okay for you? Please, Martin.
Can I give a short story?
Yes,
please.
please.
Is it all right?
Yes,
Yes, we have you. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're okay.
Look, I from what you were saying and about the blockchain, we have an example in from Perth in Western Australia, and we had a woman called Gemma Green. She was a graduate of Murdoch University in Commerce. And she travelled to London and worked for many years in the JP Morgan Bank. And she rose to head up the environment portfolio globally. And she gave that up after a while because she wanted to come back to Perth and establish a family. But she was also very interested in solar energy. And so she thought, well, how can I, this is not my background, how can I learn more about this? So I really do see solar energy as being a big part of the future. So she went to a very prominent professor at Curtin University. Elizabeth may remember this person, that's because she spent time at Curtin University as well. Professor Peter Newman. And so she went and met Peter, and she started a PhD on solar energy. Peter's a very strong advocate of this as well. And because solar energy was becoming very prominent in Perth, and because Perth, I guess it's a bit like an American type of city, very sprawling suburbs with single residential housing, and very easy for people to put a solar system on their roof. And so when you have single detached housing with solar power systems, the owner of the house is owning the solar electrical output too. But what Gemma thought was, what about all these people that live in apartment houses? And how can those people have access to solar energy? She realised if she could find a solution to this, this could be a breakthrough. And so she thought about it for a while, because she came from a background of stock market and share trading and so on with JP Morgan. She thought, how can these people put, like they normally do, a single solar around the roof, but have access to it? And eventually she figured out that you build like a trading platform and you use the blockchain. And she developed this. And this is now an operating business. And she went on a crowdfunding campaign and raised $20 million. She now set up a company called Power Ledger. And this has now major contracts in New York, Thailand, and so on. And it is slowly spreading this concept to large apartment blocks. But the thing is, you may then ask, well, what about places like Africa, Bangladesh? And I know Christian talking about Bangladesh this morning. And so if you watch a film called 2040 by an Australian filmmaker called Damiani, very nice film, we should watch it one night when we're here. It's a very positive way with these sort of solutions. You go to Bangladesh, and this has been put into action there in remote country villages. The villages, they can collectively, because they have like that cheap iPhone that you said, Nokia, and they get this trading on. They each buy little solar panels, put on all the roofs in the village, and they can trade the electricity and buy it using this technique in the blockchain and sharing the solar energy. So I just thought I'd give those two examples, because it's sort of like breakthrough technology, and it's using the blockchain to share the solar energy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. All right.
I have a question, a short one. You said I must be short, but I'm huge. No, I don't joke. The question is, as far as I know, the ruling economic theories may be a big problem to hinder real change. I'm happy that you sit next to me, because you Volkswirtschaft, what is it? Economics, but without Volk. Yeah, and I learned that there are no alternatives to that theories you learn in your studies. And I wanted to know how can we bring about a change from this Cadenabbia agenda, that all the economics around here will go and change their university teachings and open up their minds, because they are in this glass bone. In this, But it's my impression. I'm not sure because I'm not a specialist in these questions. I hope that you can understand, you can help me.
Very briefly, I may have to make sure that I am all in favor of innovation. And what I found a little bit disgusting is the non-balanced ideology with essentially victors and losers. And this I find normally not very productive. Essentially, it is kicking out people who have been doing very good stuff like repair for decades, and now all of a sudden it's no longer new, therefore forget it. This is a wrong philosophy, a wrong emotion. And part of that is, in a sense, the philosophy of Silicon Valley. I'm all in, I mean, I love also the innovation power of Silicon Valley. But if it is essentially meant to destroy as many adversaries as possible, I find it unpleasant.
And economic theories?
I'm not an economist, but I see that in certain circles for which the Silicon Valley is only one famous example. You have just the same in Beijing or in Russia or in Germany or someplace. But essentially, I want cooperation and not always beating.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, what I want to say is, I think it says digital age and trust. I want to make a slight change there. Digital age and mistrust. So there's, a lot of mistrust taking place. There's no question that digital age is enabling innovative technologies, breakthrough technologies, disruptive technologies, and these innovations are creating jobs, are contributing to the development of economy. Although, some of the technologies like robotics, you may say, okay, well, it's taking jobs from blue-collar workers, but those blue-collar workers can get different jobs, can be retrained with the new technology to do other things. So, definitely, when those blue-collar jobs are lost, there are also other jobs are created. So, well, with these innovations, what's also happening is hackers are getting hold of those technologies. And this creates a lot of mistrust because I get a lot of emails. Okay, well, your credit card is revoked. Please call this number or click this URL. I block those emails. They have my email. I get calls. They know a lot about me, and I hang up. So and also the mistrust is also coming from because digital equipments, digital devices collect data.
A good thing.
And when they collect data, people are saying, okay, how is this intrusion into my privacy? How is this data gonna be used against me? Like this morning, I talked about our new innovative earbud. I mean, it's definitely going to help a lot of people. The technology is make their lives easier, but also we are going to be developing cloud platform which will collect data, and then that big data will be used for commercial purposes. So people may say, okay, if I wear this earbud, walk around, are they collecting data from me? Am I being followed? So on and so forth. So again, we have to create this trust. Of course, when we collect this data, we are not going to be collecting any personal data. We are collecting demographic data, but how can we make sure that people trust that, people understand that? So that's going to be a challenge of digital age. Digital age is helping economy, also creating mistrust among the society, and even the big companies don't trust people. I mean, when I rented my famous car in Milano, they they revoked my credit card right away. Okay, so
I think these are very good examples. Can someone comment?
So,
Maybe he or you?
I would actually add to this point and argue that data can also play a big role in creating trust, especially looking at the sustainability transformation that we talked about today. I think that there is a lot of mistrust because of behavior that, for example, greenwashing, where trust was broken, and where data and transparency can actually improve how people and the public view the
Right.
sustainability transformation and how companies, for example, are performing in terms of sustainability.
I see a general problem when we talk about digital age and trust. I think it has to do with knowledge and education, and we can only achieve trust in the kind of digital age if people are educated well enough to handle technologies, which is at the end, I would call it cognitive penetration that gives people the competence to analyze and to reflect on certain aspects and things. I think the media is responsible for a neutral and scientifically correct preparation of information. And if that's not the case, people should be educated enough to understand that and to reflect things. And otherwise, mistrust will develop at the end. So education is a central aspect in trusting people, and education is needed because information which is just provided, for example, by internet or ChatGPT, does not make people think. And I think the idea of making people think and reflect on certain aspects they are provided is of fundamental importance to develop, to fight against conspiracy theories, to fight against populist parties. People are educated and understand problems and are able to discuss and to reflect. They will not follow these magicians who promise something.
No, that's okay.
We have a look guest here. Would you give a statement, please?
Yeah.
Digital age, trust, Cadenabbia agenda. Choose what you want.
When it comes to trust and digital age, we all have our digital age in our pocket, but average Joe or average Joel does not know which data and when data goes to the data companies. For example, if you boot a pure Android phone, you send, if it's freshly installed, you send 4 megabytes of data to several servers, even to Facebook, if it's not installed on your mobile. And but people don't know. So trust is missing at this point. If I think this is a big problem.
Would I have you an idea how we can improve the situation so that this trust could become lively, so that we then say, okay, I can really trust my iPhone. If it's out, then they do not use the camera.
There is no solution right now, because if you want to be part of the digital age, you need to have a phone, and there is alternative solutions, but it's always you need to have knowledge of IT or something. But yeah, I think this is one of the biggest problems of digital age, the users.
I would like to follow up on this or comment. I'm not fully, I don't fully agree. The point is, I think that people know. You can read it all over the newspapers, and I think we underestimate the user by saying, you know, that you're not an IT guy. You don't know. That's why you're doing it. I think the major issue here is not trust, it's convenience. So I can use it, it's easy, so I use it. As long as what I get out of it is more than what I feel as an impact, I continue using it. And I think that's also the thing with sustainability, right? I have the direct impact I see, you know, why, you know, where's the, you know, I know the direct link, and I understand that if I'm flying, the CO2 emission is high, but I don't feel the direct impact. So I'm still continuing flying because I'm, you know, I see a nice country and all this. And I think the same is with usage of the digital tools. I know that the people are, you know, I know that Google is, you know, getting all my data. I'm still using it because it's convenient. And I think this is where we need to go also with regard to when we design systems. You know, this is one of our jobs as techie to make it convenient for the user, you know, to take the better choice in the end. And not underestimate people. People, I think they know. They just, you know, take the easy way.
I think they know, but they don't know the dimension.
No. You also comment on
No.
this? Okay.
Fine. Very good.
We can have one or two questions from the audience to the panel. Please, then remain seated. So I liked a lot this Ubuntu thing, but I see the problem that we have some people on top, like people that are in powerful positions, and some people at the bottom. Eva Thunberg I would not consider as bottom because she is powerful for that, but we have some grassroots movements that want to change something, but the majority of the society is indifferent. They don't see I feel they don't feel any need to change something, energy to change something. At the same time, it's clear that it's only one planet, and it's only one humankind that has to do something. So to me, this is really a big challenge in how to create this momentum in a way that it really, really gains power. Because these incentives, I fully agree, it's a totally great tool. But if the people from the bottom are not getting into it, I think we really need, as humanity, we need to understand that we should be more indigenous, like the native people of America, for instance, saying like, okay, we have to live together with nature and biodiversity, as you said it. And to me, this is unluckily still not at all clear how we can get there. I think technology is not necessarily the problem at all because we have lots of tools that are just not rolled out. So if we would roll out everything that we have to save the environment everywhere on this planet, the situation would already be much better. So therefore, for me, really getting the people involved and getting them interested in going, so if we would manage to get someone into that direction, that would be.
Can I ask a quick question also following up? Yes, please. Has COVID destroyed trust? And if so, how do we get it back?
I think COVID was a shock, no doubt. But one of the positive effects was that people are now realizing they can arrange for seminars using essentially the own computer instead of crossing the oceans. So I believe the capacity of trans-ocean cooperation would not have occurred without COVID.
Okay, Thank you very
Can I
much.
make an additional question? Okay, I don't think COVID created mistrust, but
Right.
As you said, it was a shock. So now created some fear. So people are thinking, oh my God, what can happen? I mean, this wiped out 2 years from our lives. What else can happen similar to COVID? So people are getting more and more cautious and a little bit scared and concerned. That was the impact, I think, other than the positive impact of home office.
I think the question is trust between whom and what on what kind of level. So I think it created mistrust between citizens and the government. I think it did. At least that's my personal impression. So I don't have any empirical evidence. I didn't read anything regarding it, but I think so. Have the feeling, and maybe not between each other. This is maybe even the contrary. I don't know. At least in the local neighborhood, I think that people, there is more trust. People help each other. But yeah, especially, trust towards authorities. I think there's a mistrust. Maybe more trust towards IT and digitalization, because those systems help us.
But also science. Trust to science, because people didn't understand why it is not possible to get a certain result with a certain, the science is saying maybe it is something like that. We still need to investigate. We still need to do that. So it was because they didn't understand the scientific process of getting to the truth or maybe to the insights. So I think on the one hand, there was a big call for science, but on the other hand, there was also quite a big distrust because they didn't understand why it is so unsecure what comes out. Not really helpful. The questions that we have. Last comment, question, and then we close.
So to me, it indeed created mistrust, and it created mistrust into seriousness of being sustainability issues. Because with COVID, we could immediately ground all airplanes and everything. So this was like globally, everybody did an effort. Oh yeah, not today, we have to do something because there's a virus that might seem more dangerous than it might have been. And I mean, was super serious, but the sustainability and environmental issues and biodiversity issues are much more serious because they affect literally everybody. And now it's like, oh yeah, it's gone. I don't have an immediate something because, as you wonderfully said, it's like biodiversity is nothing that I experience directly. I even experience it because when I drive with my car, I don't have so many insects on my windshields and so on, but it's not nothing that affects me immediately. And so for me, this really created super mistrust into the seriousness of treating these issues, because the government seemed not to be as not at all to be in any kind efficient in that direction.
Good. Thank you very much. Thanks to the panel, and to everybody who contributed to the discussion. We have captured a few topics, and we will continue with this. We have more time on tomorrow to discuss things, and on day 3 as well.
Thank you very much, Irma, Lindt, and Wolfgang Gräther. A really lively panel.